Now we're waiting on YouTube. Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of The Bullet. My name is Paul Lathrop. I'm the Deputy Director of New Media for the Second Amendment Foundation. Joining me today on a day he wasn't scheduled to join me, Charlie Cook, otherwise known, well, I'm going to drop that. I'm going to switch that around. Charlie Cook is joining me. The bizarro Charlie Cook, otherwise known as Tom Knighton, was scheduled, but had to bow out. So the real Charlie Cook decided to go ahead and step in today. Charlie, thanks for being here, man.
Thank you, Paul. I'm glad to be here. I got to tell you, it's been so long, I didn't even know whose week it was.
Well, yeah, it's been. We took off the week before Atlanta, so I could travel to Atlanta and cover the Mingle, then the week after that was NRA. And so there was a travel week to NRA, and then being at NRA, and then the travel back from NRA. So we're finally back in the regular swing of things.
Whew.
It's been interesting. So let me ask you this: we've got a lot of things to talk about, but we are just back from NRA recently. You took the Great American Road Trip. Talk about getting the stagecoach across America. You drove from Massachusetts to Ohio and then to Houston, back to Ohio, then back to Massachusetts. Man, what was your experience like?
It was 4 days on the road with Amanda Suffolk and Rob Campbell, and Rob sleeps a lot. So it was good. It was a lot of fun. I think, man, it was 2 solid days of driving. So about almost 4,000 miles in a week, on top of 3 days in Houston. So it was great. We hit some Waffle Houses, we hit some Denny's, had some road food. It's all good, man. All good.
I got to tell you, man, one of my favorite stops of all the 2 weeks the 2.5, 3 weeks I was on the road. One of my favorite stops was the next to the last night. We were in Houston. We all stopped at that barbecue joint in downtown Houston.
Which barbecue joint?
The final one we went to. It was, what was it, 3 or 4? We went to one and it closed a few hours before we got there. The next one was in a little
shady.
Yes. The neighborhood was a little on the creepy side.
Yeah.
And then we finally found one that was open and in a fairly safe neighborhood.
Good area. Yeah.
But that was one of the most fun side trips.
That was great. We're all piled in Rob and Amanda's truck, and I'm trying to drive. I'm trying to follow directions. I'm trying to find some place to eat. Rob's great because he's like, turn on my side, turn on your side.
As the corner is like, you've got like a half a second after he says it to make the turn.
Yeah,
and great. Susan's live tweeting from the back seat.
Right, because you're like, turn here. That's an exit only. And the food was the barbecue we had was amazing. Oh my God!
I'm not exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating at all when I say that was the best chicken I've ever had in my life.
Oh my gosh! To me, it's a really good meal when I sit there and I don't talk to anybody, and I'm just like, just enjoy this food, man. Just enjoy this food. Ugh.
All right, well, we got a lot. I want to remind everybody you can get in on the conversation, comment on either of the live videos on Facebook or YouTube, or you can tweet with the hashtag Bullet Podcast. That's actually the fastest way to get your comment in to us. We'll discuss your comment on the air. But we do have a lot of stories to get to today. First one up, Charlie. A new video has leaked of Hunter Biden, and it's just as bad as you could imagine. I don't know if you've been able to see the video.
Or just as good as you could imagine.
Well, yeah, there is that.
I think I tried watching the videos, but a pop-up blocker came up, and I wasn't able to.
Boy, and there's some pop-ups you want to avoid in that one.
There are some pop-ups you want blocked. What I find, the whole thing, the fun stuff that I find troubling is the article says that he's got a 38 caliber revolver, and his hand is on the trigger.
Yeah.
Right. His hand wasn't on the trigger. The finger was on the trigger. His other hand, well, it was loaded as well.
Yes.
But it looks like he's holding a Beretta 92 instead of a revolver. So I'm like, oh man.
Yeah. Can we at least figure out the difference between a semi-auto and a revolver? I mean, that's not rocket science there.
It's really not. I mean, you don't have to have the make and model, but oh my goodness, please, please get that right. The semi-auto versus revolver, and ironically, the Beretta 92 that it looks like he's holding has and uses those 9mm rounds that'll shoot your lungs out.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is not good. To me, the hypocrisy with the Biden issue is that were this Trump's son in the exact situation, the media would be all over him. They would call for his impeachment. They would say his son needs to be arrested. They would say he's a sex offender and a gun smuggler. And I mean, go right down the list of all the things that they would say about one of the Trump sons, Eric or Donald, and he's a pedophile and a sex trafficker, and like go right down the list, He got the gun illegally. He lied on the 4473, threw the gun in a dumpster near a school. That's illegal. Like the whole, and the media just looks to the other side. I mean, this story is on what, Radar Online? It's not on any of the major news outlets.
No, I picked it up because I got it through SAF. I honestly picked it up through the SAF Facebook page is how I found it. They found it first. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, not exactly a leading journalism outlet that's putting this out, but I mean, you get your news where you can.
Exactly. And as I'm looking into the picture, maybe that's not a Beretta.
Just be careful where you look at in those pictures.
Yes, indeed.
I will go ahead, and if you are so inclined to go and look, and please be careful while you're browsing. I will go ahead and I will I'll put the links up in both in the comment sections in both of the Facebook and the YouTube videos, and they're there now.
Yes, it's not quite what is it, NSFW?
Yeah, not safe for work. Yeah. Now, for some reason, my broadcast software is not picking up comments from Facebook, but I'm just going to go ahead and read a few of them. Charlie Chambers says, hello from Goldsboro, North Carolina. 1 year anniversary of the Mag 40 in South Dakota. I forgot about that. As a matter of fact, Charlie, excuse me, 1 year ago today, I got a picture of you riding shotgun with me while we were at that Mag 40.
That was an amazing week. That week I actually logged a lot of miles as well. But that was an amazing class with oh my gosh, with Charlie Chambers, of course. Hashtag Charlie is a great brand, and with Amanda, not Rob Campbell, not Rob Morse, but Rob Beckman.
Yep.
Robin
Sandoval was there.
Yes. Neil Widener was there. Neil's daughter, the Range Monkey, she was there. And we made some new friends too. And oh my gosh! And of course, I'm not going to come up with their names, but we're regulars on the Facebook.
Yeah.
Pat Carver, I think, and he
Pat
travels a lot. And then
Mark Hookham was one of the RSOs. Yes.
Yes, and then there was a guy that was there with his son. That was a mechanic in Minneapolis.
Oh, Minnesota. Yes, and I'm trying to remember the name, and please forgive me. My brain's scrambled.
Yeah, I didn't know we were pulling this up.
So, Jerry, I want to say his name was Jerry, but I can't remember the last name.
That's all right. Jerry with a G.
Okay, and then I do, because we're 10 minutes in. We've only got one story in, so we do need to.
All right, let's stop talking about Hunter and his pistol.
Styles, that's it. Jerry Styles.
Styles.
I get feedback from the next room back. Believe it or not, despite what you can see online, there is not a waterfall behind me. There's another office, and Susan is right back there. So, next story is, according to the FBI, there were 61 active shooter incidents. I prefer to call them active killer incidents, because I'm an active shooter.
Boom.
There are 61 active killer incidents across the country in 2021. 12 of the incidents meet the definition of a mass killing. California led the nation with 6 of them, despite having already had a ban on high-capacity magazines, what everybody else calls standard capacity.
Right.
10-day waiting period on gun purchases, a red flag law, registrations requirements, a good cause requirement for concealed carry permits, a ban on carrying a gun for college campuses for self-defense, a ban on K-12 teachers being armed on campus for classroom defense, a background check for ammunition purchase. California, it's up for debate, but California is right up there with New York, Hawaii, New Jersey as the most restrictive state in the nation for gun control. And yet they have the most incidents of active mass killers. You know, you could, instead of trying to ban the guns, lock up the violent people.
Yeah, Captain Obvious for that one. When the anti-gun folks come out with their list of things that they want, that most of them have, they already have these things, and they still don't do anything. And they'll say, "Well, we have background checks, but this guy passed the background check, so we don't need that. We have the guy in Buffalo modified his rifle. It's illegal to modify his rifle." Well, saying it that you can't modify didn't really stop anything. Getting high cap magazines in a state where they're legal and then bringing them into a state where it's illegal is, I hate saying it's not that difficult to do, but people aren't checking at the border when you go to when you go from one state to another state to see the stuff that you purchased. So all of this stuff people want to do, nothing's going to stop. Nothing's going to stop these. I call them active murderers, because murderer to me, people get killed in car accidents. People don't usually get murdered in a car accident. So when I write about this and talk about it, I stick with an active murderer.
Yeah. Well, and just as there are occasionally murders with firearms, there are murders with cars. It's admittedly a little more rare, but there's active mass murders with car too.
Oh yeah.
The incident in Wisconsin last Christmas, where there was a parade, and this jerk,
active murderer,
gets in his Ford Escape and plows through a parade and kills 6 grandmas that were walking in the parade. There have been incidents where terrorists they rent U-Haul trucks, or they rent Home Depot. You can rent this pickup to help you do your home repairs. They'll rent those pickups, and they'll go looking for crowds and just plow into the crowd, attempting to kill as many people as they can. Nobody's looking to ban pickups. Nobody's looking to ban Explorers or Escapes.
Or van rentals.
Right. So,
somebody, completely off topic. I just saw this, and this is something I brought up thinking about everything during the week of traveling back and forth to NRA. If the door at the Robb Elementary School did not lock, how come nobody's suing the door manufacturer? And I think it was Pete Buttigieg came out and said that suing the door manufacturer would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so you can't. The door didn't work the way it's supposed to. Therefore, the door manufacturer should be on the hook for the responsibility because the door didn't lock the way it was supposed to. But that's completely off topic.
Yeah. I want to get a comment in here real quick. I got to find the right button. There it is. There we go. Big John 410 over on the YouTube side says Joe Biden refuses to provide security for Hunter's love child, from the Daily Mail. You know, I know that President gets Social Security, probably does. President gets Secret Service security for free for life. President's kids get Secret Service security as long as he's in office, and I think 10 years after. I do not know about grandchildren.
Well, I mean, that could be something that doesn't fall under the responsibility of Secret Service. Joe Biden certainly has the money to afford private security for the love child, but to me, it just might be another way for him not to acknowledge the actions of his son.
Yeah. Or cover the actions of his son.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, now we've spent another 5 minutes on just one story. So New York looks like it's getting a new gun control law. And this one, they're going to be, you have to be licensed to own an AR-15 and go through classes and qualifications and all this good stuff. And the one I got out of here, I got a quote that I pulled out of this. This is from Senate Majority Leader in New York, Andrea Stewart Cousins. We've done a lot, she said. On the national level, we're talking about doing things we've already done. So we continue to lead and try to answer the moment it occurs. You know what that means? We love dancing in the blood. That's what that means.
I always think of the Talking Head song in the video of David Byrne, where he's chomping his arm and saying, "Same as it ever was, same as it ever was,
Yes.
Same as it ever was, same as it ever was." It's the same old song and dance. I mean, I was reading here, and one of the quotes is, "They know that this stuff doesn't work, so they need to make it stronger. New York already has some of the toughest gun laws in the country, but clearly we need to make them even stronger," said Huchel, the now governor, the unelected governor, who is a Democrat. All this stuff doesn't work. Like, holy moly, man. And it's interesting to me because the folks on the left that I've noticed, they like to tout about their education and how smart they are, but they don't have any common sense when it comes to this stuff, and they don't want to agree with common sense gun laws. They're common sense gun laws. I said this a number of years ago. They don't want gun safety. They want gun abstinence is really what they want. They don't want anyone to have any guns. They don't want people to carry guns. They don't want people to use guns. But every time we see there's a mass shooting, we see police officers, SWAT team, whoever it is that comes in, guess what they've got? They've got semi-automatic handguns with high-capacity magazines that probably shoot 9mm bullets, and some of them have assault weapons, which have pistol grips, collapsible stocks, flash hiders, bayonet lugs, and 30-round magazines,
and
which would make
sometimes a fun switch.
Yeah, exactly. I did the Citizens Police Academy in my town about 7 years ago, and it's nothing like the movies. I'll tell you that right now. But the police officer called his AR a patrol rifle. And I'm like, I wanted to ask him, how come it's a patrol rifle when it's in your vehicle with the lights on it, with the gumballs on the top? But if I put it in my vehicle, it's now an assault weapon. It's the same item. You just change names because it's in a different place. This is asinine. Yes.
I want to get this one up here. Charlie Chambers says, "We will not comply." I love the sentiment, Charlie. I think that's going to be becoming prevalent. Well, let's back up. I was watching today, starting at 9 o'clock my time this morning, 8:30 my time this morning. I was watching SCOTUS blog and waiting, and Bruin did not pop today. I was hoping, but We'll next Monday. We'll see. They did release, I believe it was 3 decisions today. They've got 33 to release before they are done at the end of the month. 3 of them went today. So they've got 30 left over the next 3 weeks. Yeah, it's going to be busy, but I'll be watching every Monday. We'll see when it excuse me, we'll see when it comes out.
We'll see when I get a little frustrated when we call it the Bruin case rather than the NYSERPA case.
Yeah.
But whatever, it is what it is.
It's easier for me to say Bruin than NYSERPA. My tongue wraps around Bruin easier.
Right, I hear you.
Next one I put off.
All right.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, what's next?
I found one off the Daily Caller today. The title of this one, let me go ahead and bring it up. What we can do to stop the next shooting, experts weigh in. And what I love about this one, in the sub-headline down below, the worst thing we can do is create gun-free zones and easy targets, or have laws that make it harder and harder for people to be ready to defend themselves. That's former state Texas Rep Rick Green, who also trains people in self-defense through his Patriot Academy. And that's echoed throughout the story. There are things like making schools real hard targets, putting real security in schools, and putting real actions to help people with mental health problems. That's I guess that's one area we really haven't discussed so much on this program, mainly because I would like to stick to guns on the Second Amendment Foundation's airtime. But that is something we definitely need to do, Charlie. Is we need to mental health care in this country is just a shadow of what it was, and so
it is. And there's so many people. It's certainly become. I think it's certainly become a buzzword that people like to throw about, so they think that they feel good about themselves or they're educated. I know when I have rough days, dude, I get in the car, drive home from work, drive home from wherever I am, and I call someone up. And I have a list of people that I call and say, hey, listen, I just need to talk for 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to go to a therapist. Therapist might be nice, but you don't have to go to a therapist. You don't have to seek professional help. Maybe professional help might help, but you got to talk to somebody. You can't keep all that stuff bottled up inside. I mean, I call someone and say, listen, I had a bad day. Like, this is not good. And it's not that I'm suicidal or anything. I just need someone to talk to, And this is the thing, man. I see so many people that say, hey, listen, do the buddy check. Hey, listen, if you need someone to talk to, here's my number. Give me a call. Send me a private message.
Yeah. I've done that quite literally with dozens of people. I freely give out my phone number, and I've gotten calls at 3 a.m. before, and it doesn't bother me. If you need to talk, you need to talk, and I'd rather be the one that's there. There
was someone in the industry whom I did not know, who ended up taking their life last year, while we were in Sioux Falls, and I don't remember who he was, and he wasn't someone that I knew, but it affected some of the folks that were taking the class, and they said, hey, he called me when we were on the range, and I couldn't take the call, and then I found out, whatever, half hour, whatever it was, I found out he ended up taking his life. He was looking for someone to talk to, and I
remember that he was having family issues and a bad marriage breakup, and I remember that. Yeah.
Those things are tough, man. Like, I gave all my guns away 3 times when I was going through my divorce. So, yeah. And I said, look, you keep the guns, I'm going to keep the keys. This way you don't have access to them without me, and I don't have the access to them without you. And I had 3 friends that were willing to do that for me at different times. So
we're coming down to about 5 minutes left. I want to buzz through these next couple stories in. Representative Chris Jacobs, a Republican, out of New York, is dropping his bid for re-election after backlash over his admission that he would support passage of an assault weapons ban. Jacobs was endorsed by the NRA during his 2020 run, but was open about supporting at least two of the Democrats' gun controls in 2022, Breitbart News noted on May 29th. And so, he came out in support of an assault weapons ban and also raising the age of purchase to 21. And his quote on that one: individuals cannot buy beer, they cannot get cigarettes until 21. I think it's perfect. Doggone it. I think it's perfectly reasonable that the age limit for these highly lethal, high-capacity semi-automatic weapons should be 21. I'm just glad. I'm glad he's gone.
The irony that we're reading this today is today's the anniversary of D-Day, when 18, 19, and 20-year-olds stormed the beaches in another country, and obviously tens of thousands lost their lives. Ironic that it's on the same day, and it's good for this guy for stepping down. Maybe he's a small R Republican. I don't know, but it's hard to say. It's hard to talk about guns and not talk about politics, because they really go hand in hand. And there are pro-gun Democrats and there are anti-gun Republicans, and for our intents and purposes, this is an anti-gun Republican.
Yes, absolutely. Next one, I always like to have a little bit of good news in every show. And here's our good news. Firearms purchases by minority groups in America have soared over the past few years, and the debate surrounding the gun control following a deadly school shooting in Texas late last month has seemingly renewed their support for the Second Amendment. Retailer surveys released by NSSF found that between 2019 and 2020, there was, hang on, a 58% increase in African Americans buying firearms, a 49% increase in Hispanic Americans buying firearms, and a 43% increase in Asian Americans buying firearms. And I was talking with Charlie before we went on the air. Those are great numbers, folks, but hey, guess what? They're still rookie numbers. You got to pump those numbers up. Come on.
This is great news. Let's get these people educated. Let's get them. They're in the fold. Let's bring them in the fold more and say, hey, listen, this assault weapon ban stuff's nonsense. This high capacity magazine stuff is nonsense. No, you can't own. And if you live in these states, you can't own one of those. You can't buy one of those. Oh yeah, you're going to have to go through a class. You're going to have to go through a background check. It's going to cost you a lot of money. Let's get these people to now that we've got them on our side. Let's educate them some more, get them some training, and let's get them to be more pro-gun.
Yes, I'd love to see the next time these numbers come around another 60, another 58, another 50, and another 40. I'd like to see those numbers jump again over what they are now. So it's doubled and almost doubled and increased by half again. So
I love in this story, I mentioned this before the show, I love in this story that they got a picture of Santee from Santee TV. I actually interviewed her while I was down in Houston, so I got to make sure that I forward this to her.
Okay. Last one for today, and we are coming right down on the bottom of the hour. America's First Freedom ran a story. New research from John Lott, president of Crime Prevention Research Center, reveals that a shockingly large percentage of Americans still believes that most violent crimes involve a firearm. This is not true. Lott recently wrote, a new survey finds that people are badly misinformed about how much violent crime involves gun. The average likely voter is way off, thinking that over 46% of violent crimes involve guns. In fact, the true figure is less than 8%. That stunned me, and I consider myself very well informed when it comes to firearms politics, and somewhat when it comes to crime.
Yeah, the studies that John Lott puts out, you can't refute these. Like, these are the hard numbers that he comes up with all the time, and he's very much no nonsense about all of this. He's I think he's come around to being a pro gun guy, but he is he was not a gun guy. He was an economist. On your calendar. And 8% really is not a lot of crimes involving firearms.
Yeah. I want to get a comment up here by DJ Play Nice, and there it is. He put up there suicidepreventionlifeline.org, and you know what? I don't know if I've been able to get this on camera yet. I also am I'm promoting stopping soldier suicide today. I'm very much in support of mental health, and I believe I'm trying to remember the name of the website, but isn't it holdmyguns.org?
Hold My Guns. That's Sarah Albrecht.
Yeah.
She's trying to find gun stores around the country that will hold on to people's guns while they take a time out. And let's face it, we all need a time out. So
yes. He also said, you don't want to talk, then you can text TALK to 741-741. I didn't know that one.
I did not know that one either. But you know what? DJ Play Nice spends a lot of time with Brooke Cheney on her Suicide Prevention Saturdays. So this is it's great that he's here, and it's great that he's able to get this information to us so you can put it out to everybody else.
Absolutely. Well, Charlie, we are, believe it or not, even though we tried to hurry through this, we're long, and we've got to be back in 30 minutes to do Polite Society podcasts. So
less than.
Why don't we go ahead and shut this down? Before we do, though, tell everybody about Riding Shotgun with Charlie and what you got coming up, dude.
All right, so Riding Shotgun with Charlie, you please check it out on YouTube, on Gunstreamer, on OpsLens app, and on Full 30. You can listen to all the shows on podcast as well. I think what I might be doing after Polite Society tonight is cooking up another email. I had June 1st, we had the second issue of Armed Lifestyle magazine, and in there I had an extra interview with Anthony Calandra. I referenced the 2 shows I did with him, and I got a little extra 18 minutes or so of a phone conversation, and I think I'm going to be putting that out tomorrow. So please check that out on the Riding Shotgun with Charlie on YouTube and in podcast form.
Very cool. On my end, I'm going to say keep joining me 5 p.m. Central Time every day this week. And if you have the time and you didn't catch it on Saturday, go back and check out the weekend edition of The Bullet. Alan Gottlieb was our special guest, and he took over 40 minutes of the show talking about the upcoming NYSRPA versus Bruin decision and about the New York gun law that may be coming through, and about a lot of other things, including some of the history of SAF. So it was a great time talking with Alan on the air. Go back and check that out. For us, we're going to shut it down now. Come join us in, 26 and a half minutes for Polite Society Podcast. Thanks for watching, everybody.